Okay. So what are your thoughts, and how many times have you listened to the new Kendrick Lamar album? You can answer that question.
Oh, I think the Kendrick album is fire, and I've listened to it a lot. You know, I really enjoy it. Like, I like the fact that he didn't put "Not Like Us" on the album. You know, I thought that was a brilliant move, not putting the song on the album.
And that's interesting because it's not on any album.
It's not.
It's out there by itself.
Yep.
Man.
And the fact that because I look at Kendrick as he's a master chess player. You know, he makes moves and he knows exactly what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So I respected that he didn't put the record.
He does seem like he's seeing something we haven't seen yet, and we're about to arrive there.
Yeah.
Now I liked the album. Okay. And actually, you know what? Industry rule number 4080. We got a guest star here. Luigi, let's go.
Industry rule number 4080. Industry rule number 4080. Record company people are shady. Industry rule number 4080. Record company people are shady.
I like the album. I didn't like it as much as his previous albums because now he has DJ Mustard doing the production. A lot of the tracks are a lot more simpler, whereas before they were a lot more complex.
Absolutely.
And had more depth to it. So, like, for example, even like one of my favorite Kendrick songs is the Pharrell song, All Right. We gonna be all right, right? But how many layers does that track have when you get to it and how he rhymes on it, right? Compared to the ones that he did. Now, the Luther record is fantastic, and so is Squabble Up. Like, you know, the sample use, that stuff's real good. But in general, I just wish they had that depth of artistry going into the production like he did on the previous albums, which is not as much on this one. Doesn't hurt the album. I just like the other ones better because of that. Because you think about Hold Up, Drank, Hot, Drank. Those songs are
Money Trees.
There's so much more depth. There's so much more depth of Loyalty.
Crazy. Humble.
Okay. And actually, we could do a whole show just talking about the songs about Kendrick left and All right, Goju Nation, industry rule number 4080. I'm your host. My name is Tally. And as you can see in our new setting, we have new people in the room. We'll get to them in a minute. Okay? Goju Nation, as always, you are appreciated and respected. Catch all the socials, IG, Threads, X, Facebook, YouTube, Gotham Jungle, at Gotham Jungle, all one word, Gotham Jungle. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Like, subscribe, share, comment. And that makes you an official member of Goju Nation. Now, you know, here's where you get the qualified, verified, and certified. And one of the things I wanted to do today is I wanted to see that you guys understand how much I care about craft and culture. So what I did is I called one of my friends that I've known for a while, we're not going to talk about years, and from Washington Heights, right? Born and raised in Washington Heights, right? Yeah. Washington Heights, New York's own. That means you were there when Manny Ramirez. This guy was in Washington Heights when Manny Ramirez was there. This guy was in Washington Heights when Alex Rodriguez was there.
Yes.
Okay. Like when they were coming up in the game. That's another conversation. This is a sport conversation. But everybody, meet DJ Big Jeff from Washington Heights. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm tired, but that's nothing to do having to do a show.
Yeah.
Okay.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
How have you been?
I've been good. Just, you know, on the grind, working, staying out of the way, and at the same time doing what we gotta do.
Okay. So now you don't know this yet. Watch how I flip this, Luigi. But you're now commanded and required to be at my live podcast brunch, which is going to be on June 7th, in conjunction with Post Point Media and with MCM Marketing, Gotham Jungle, which is the power company that's behind Industry Number 4080. We're doing a live, in-house, studio, remote podcast from South Bay and Fairfield, Connecticut. Information is on the screen somewhere. and I know Luigi will take care of that. It's going to be June 7th, probably going to be around 1:30 in the afternoon. We're encouraging you guys to come because they're doing drink menus specifically for us. They're doing food menus specifically for us. You're going to be around like-minded people. If you've ever wanted to see what it looks like to film a podcast, this is where you need to be. If you ever want to be around like-minded people who think the way that Goju Nation thinks, this is where they will be. If you ever want to be in a room and say, you know what, I think I need a DJ for this. You know what, I think I want to do a podcast. You know what, I think I might need some marketing help for my company. They're going to be there. So you need to kind of be there in that room. Guests to be announced, of course, and we're going to have a great time. June 7th, Fairfield, South Bay. Now, Luigi's now happy. I got that out the way. We okay, Luigi? We good? Got that done? Okay, I'm not in trouble? Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. All right, so today we're going to talk about the digital media landscape of DJing, and I'm going to interview DJ Big Jeff, and he's going to break down to us the culture aspect of what goes on. Okay, we're talking about turntables, crates, the essence of DJing, and the technology aspect from then to now, which is a big thing for him, okay? Because there are too many people out there just kind of cutting corners. Is that a safe way to say it?
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And not doing the due diligence that needs to be done when it comes to taking care of the craft, right?
Yes.
So you know how we do, Luigi. We got to start with the qualified. So let's go. The cute. You didn't like that part. All right, so let's take it back, Jeff.
Yes.
Okay, first question. What drew you into wanting to be a DJ in the first place? Two-part questions. Mm-hmm. And how did you get your first set of turntables?
What drew me to DJing, I remember I went to a block party in the neighborhood, and I saw somebody DJing, my man Spin Master Rob, and DJ Attack, may he rest in peace. And I heard him scratch, and I was like, I want to learn how to do that. So
that was at the party.
That was at the party.
It was happening so people are moving around, they're dancing, they're doing things, and then all of a sudden you hear this disturbance that you liked.
Yeah. When I heard him scratching, I was like, yo, I need to learn how to do that. So I focused on getting into that, like wanting to learn and looking at videos and stuff. And when I got my first set of turntables, it was a group of us. You know, my older brother, he was the one that brought the turntables, my brother Frank. He brought some turntables to the crib, and we just started. I was like, oh, so now we got turntables? Okay. Because he was the original DJ.
So he went to DJ first?
Yeah. So I decided to take it more serious.
So he did it as a hobby. You did it as a hustle.
Yeah, I did it like I wanted to get into this.
So you basically stole his turntables?
No. They were in the house. We lived in the same house, so they were in our room. Mm. So, you know, I just owned it, and I just wanted to learn more about it, and then started watching, you know, scratch videos, DJ videos, you know, Rock Raider, Q-Bird, Craze, to name a few. And I just wanted to learn what they were doing, you know.
What were the turntables in the mixer?
First turntables, we was able to get 1200s. He got Technique 1200s.
That means that means your brother was doing something else.
Yeah. So not because it was collectively. It was a group of us. They all got
fund. It was a fund.
Yeah, it was a bunch
$100 a week.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, we was doing what we do. You know, and I just, like I said, I took it more serious, and we started doing parties. You know, and you know, I just kept going with it.
Okay. Let me say it differently. Who were, like you say you saw, who was the first DJ you saw scratch? What's his name?
My friends, Spin Master Rob and DJ Attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once you decided you wanted to be a DJ, who were the mentors or the guys you followed or mentored after says, yo, I like their style? And talk about what their style was. Was it scratching? Was it blending? Was it how they ran a party? Like, kind of walk through that a little bit.
The DJs that I looked up to, and I felt like they were like my mentors, even though I didn't know them. You know, Kid Capri, Jazzy Jeff, Cash Money, you know, Rock Raider, may he rest in peace. You know, Lovebug Starsky, you know. And that's what I was like, damn, I want to do those things, you know. I want to, like, Kid Capri was the ultimate party DJ, you know. You know, so I just wanted to do those things. But when I first started DJing, I wanted to be more of a battle DJ. Like, I didn't really, all I wanted to do was scratch. I was cutting everything, you know, and then, you know, I started learning how to blend and mix and, you know, learning music, and then they just kept going from there.
So it wasn't one lane that you like. So, for example, Capri, Red Alert, there'd be a party DJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Red Alert was also instrumental.
Jazzy Jeff, I'm not saying he wasn't a party DJ, but you would see his skills at a DJ party. Okay. Rock Raider, same thing. Skills at the turntable, like what Primo does right now. Skills. So it wasn't necessarily that you wanted to be a skill DJ or a party DJ or a producer DJ. You wanted to encompass all.
I wanted to be a well-rounded DJ. I wanted to know the mixing aspect, scratch aspect, skill aspect, battle aspect. I just wanted to be able to do it all, because I feel, and I felt it then, and I still feel it to this day, you need to know, if you're going to get into any type of field, especially as a DJ, you need to know how to use everything and how to do everything, you know, to the best of your ability, so that way you're never caught off guard. Like, basically, you're ready, you're always ready to be ready. You know, I stay ready to be ready.
I know the other forms of DJing, but educate me. I don't know if Luigi knows what this is. What is a battle DJ?
A battle DJ is a DJ that'll go into a competition and basically go all out, skill-wise, scratching, tricks, you know.
Okay, so this is the DJ Scratch Jazzy Jeff world. Of what they do. And going into competitions to say, my skill set is better than yours. And about rocking a party, it's about, look at what I could turn this turntable into.
Look what I could do with these turntables and turn these turntables into instruments.
Okay, I knew what that was. I didn't know that. Not that I didn't know, but you just re-educated me. Okay, I'm good. Anything else you want to say on that point, or you good?
Basically, it's just that, like, just battling and going up against another DJ and basically making, you know, destroying that DJ you're battling. You know, like, really, you know, wordplay or you know, however you want to do it, body tricks. Because there's a lot of DJs that do body tricks.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I remember one of my favorites was DJ Scratch did the Friday the 13th.
The Friday the 13th.
The mask, and that's called a seminal moment in hip hop. Because he did that type of thing.
Exactly. And he did it on Friday the 13th.
And he did it on Friday the 13th. Big. And then Jazzy Jeff was the first one to really do transforming and make it sound like an actual freaking transformer on people. That was crazy. I got you logically. All the ones I'm missing that did your tricks, I'm just saying.
And then Rock Raider was, you know, one of the original body trick DJs.
Like moving his arms.
You know, scratching, you know, moving the fader with his back and, you know, stomach, and, you know, it was just like seeing things like that was what really cultivated me into wanting to be a DJ.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Look, we're just getting started here.
No.
So loosen up your jacket or something. Get comfortable. Okay. What is one lesson that you would pass on to these up-and-coming DJs? Because I know what pisses these classic DJs off, because they think Seratos is where DJs started.
No,
I know you respect it, but what lesson, I want you to hear the question again. What's the one lesson you would teach them? Because their thought process is that DJ started when I got these Seratos.
Well, my one lesson I would teach one of the younger DJs is to learn all forms of equipment. Get yourself a pair of turntables, get yourself a mixer, go to Rock and Soul, buy some vinyl, and learn how to DJ with vinyl. Because DJing with vinyl is like driving a car that's a stick shift. It's, you know, you gotta know what you're doing. DJing with the controllers and CDJs, I have no problem with that. I enjoy using those things too. It's DJing automatic. You know what I'm saying? It's DJing driving an automatic car. But the reason I say you should buy some they should buy some turntables and some vinyl is because Serato gives you the cheat sheet. It gives you the BPM. You know what I'm saying? So when you DJing with vinyl, and I come from that era of DJing with vinyl, so you have to listen to the music to see how it blends with the next record to do the transition. So there's no, oh, this song is 80 BPM and this one is an 80 BPM song too. You can't do that with vinyl. You have to really think, and that's the part that I've enjoyed in my DJ journey, is being able to figure it out. You know, like, you don't want to be that DJ that you don't know the BPM to a song and now you're stuck, that you can't mix. So the one thing I would give to an up and coming DJ is that learn how to use every piece of equipment. So if it's in front of you, you don't say, I don't know how to use that. You know, so that's the one thing that I would say that I would give to an up and coming DJ.
True story you didn't know. Luigi know this too. At one point I did DJ. I had DJ equipment in my mother's basement where I lived at, right? And what I would do is, I didn't like scratching. Okay. I like blending. Yeah. Now what I had upstairs is my father had I'm not lying, old school wall to wall to wall to wall living room albums. Okay. So what I would do is I would buy new hip hop records and I would blend them with old jazz records. So that ear had to be developed to know what would mix with what. This is what Tribe Called Quest did to me.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that era did to me, DJing wise. So there are still people. My brother has one. I'm not lying. And my ex-girlfriend has one. They still have those mixtapes that I made for them, and they really, really, truly enjoy it. They say, you should be doing more of that. But I'm speaking to your point about listening to BPMs because I'm asking this question. Hip-hop record to hip-hop record is a certain ear. Hip-hop record to a non-hip-hop record is a little bit of a more different ear, would you say? More of it, I'm going to say advanced, but is it the same ear, or is it, what would you say?
It's pretty much the same ear, because if you really pay attention to music, everything is a 4.
Tends to be 4/4.
4/4, exactly.
Tends to be.
It does. It could be 4/8.
It could be 5. It could be 5/4. It could be a lot of different times. But in general,
but at the end of the day, they all follow the same.
They land on 4.
They all land on 4, exactly. So it could be faster. It could be a faster 4, slower 4, or mid-tempo 4. And that's what you have to pay attention as a DJ. And like when it comes to DJing with vinyl, that was the secret sauce, is paying attention to the beat. It's like having a Metrodome sound in your head that tells you that it goes with it.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? If you have to speed it up, slow it down, whatever. And to piggyback off of your Tribe Called Quest moment, that's how I incorporated jazz music. Like, when I first started hearing their production with jazz, I was like, oh my God, I love jazz.
Yeah, because I'm mixing Gangstar, mess your head up, Luigi, with Kinda Blue, Miles Davis. That's what I'm doing. I'm mixing Charlie Parker, okay, with the UMCs. Type of stuff.
And then when it came to the DJing, because when we go by records, I know we're gonna go into that later, but when I will go by records, I will look at the production, who produced the record,
producers,
who produced the record, and then I started wanting to find the samples that they used, just because I just loved music. So, when Q-Tip was using a lot of jazz records, Premier using a lot of jazz records. Like, I'll never forget when I heard New York State of Mind from Nas.
Yeah.
I wanted to find that sample.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Where that came from. I was like, I got to find this. And when I found it, I was like, wow.
So that four that Jeff is speaking to, because I like to do this, Luigi, because sometimes people, me and Luigi have this conversation. Okay, I always speak to him about what things are compared to what things are perceived to be. Okay, so we're gonna have a teeny music lesson right now. Okay, what he's speaking to right now are time signatures. Okay, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 6, 8s. Okay, and basically the downbeat is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, in the history of life, probably 65% of every record made is probably 4/4. Okay, but there's a famous jazz record called Take 5. It's 5/4 time. Okay, there's records that are 3/4 time, 2/4 time. So that is a lesson you learn in day 1 or day 2 if you learn to play the piano. Okay, but as you grow and learn different theories, different music, you know how to mesh these things together. There are jazz records that start off in 6/8 time, and then go to 2/4 time, and then land on 4/4 time. Look at Chick Corea and Herbie Hancock if you want to do your homework there. Okay, so again, this is what we do here that we don't do other places. We just nod his head like, yes, that's absolutely the case.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to say that because I didn't want you to, not that you were, but I wanted to know that that's not a layman's term. That's actually a musical theory term. That's actual music knowledge for people that go to school and study and graduate and learn. People that play cello and harmonicas and orchestras. Yeah. That's what sheet music is for. Okay, and the first thing you see on the sheet music, before you see anything else, you see the title and you see the time signature. Then you see music.
Yes.
So that's how that works. So we'll stop there. All right, Jeff. So that certifies you in your DJ land. Let's get to the verify part of it. Okay. All right? And the V is where we talk about the receipts, Jeff. So here's my next question. How did you dig for records back in the day? And what's the one hidden gem that you found to this day that still remains a constant banger?
Wow. Well, my digging process was I enjoyed when I went to buy records. I would always start like on a Friday, because at that back in the days,
that's when the records came to the store.
No, the music used to come out on Tuesday.
No, the albums would come out on Tuesday, but the stores would be stocked on Fridays.
Exactly. So I would go, and my main objective is always to buy doubles.
Sure.
Always to buy doubles. So, I would go on Friday, I would start. It would always be on the weekend because, don't have school, you know.
Okay.
So Friday,
that's how your weekend starts.
Yeah. I'll go to Rock and Soul, buy a couple pieces.
Rock and Soul needs to get Jeff some money. He done mentioned it 4 times.
My bad. No, but I love that place. So I will go there and I'll buy a couple pieces there. And then I'll go downtown, go to other spots and see what they have, because, a lot of times I would find songs, records that were European pressed, that, were hard to find. Mm-hmm. So I would go to other stores and find them there. And then Saturday, I would go to one of my other favorite stores. It's no longer here, Fat Beats, and that's where I would buy my hip hop, my underground hip hop artists that, they were so dope, but they weren't mainstream, kind of like backpackish.
Okay.
And I would go there and I would buy those records because I used to stay up on Thursday nights listening to Stretch and Bobbito. So over the weekend, I would try to find those records. And then to find out that a lot of those records that they were playing weren't out yet. So I would be like, I got to find this record. So I was always looking for records. But that's, that my process is just that, like just going to different locations.
And what's that one gem that you found?
Damn. I remember I was listening to Stretch and he played Land of the Lost by Cellar Dwellers. And that sample was so infectious that I was like, I gotta find that record. Mm-hmm. And I found it.
Is infectious a word? I'm just curious, but keep going.
It was just one of those records that the moment you heard it, it was like, this record is crazy. Mm-hmm. So I went all over the place looking for it. I went to all my favorite record shops, and I finally found it. I don't remember where I found it, but I found it, and I was able to get it. And as far as hip-hop, that was one of my big gems at that time.
Okay. Tell the world. Just got a crap load of followers, by the way. Tell the world that salient moment, that watershed moment when you had to improvise mid-set. I don't know what happened. Tech glitch, the lights went out, there was a fight, whatever the case may be, and you were thrown a curveball basically in the middle of your set. Okay? And what'd you do and pull out your bag to make it right?
All right. I remember DJing at Speed. Yeah, let's go back. And the crossfader, the DJ before me, I don't know what he did, but the crossfader was broken when I got on. So I had to use the up and down faders. And
For sound.
For sound. And we're DJing with vinyl. So I'm DJing, and I was just doing what I do. I was just playing music, and I was cutting and blending with the up and down faders. And it was a DJ competition at that. And Coco Chanel was one of the judges. Fat Man Scoop was there. And DJ Diamond, that he goes by Diamond the Artist now. So I'm doing my thing, to impress these judges and impress the audience. And at the end of my set, Coco Chanel, I believe it was her, said, she bigged me up for doing how I did my set. And she mentioned that I was doing it with the up and down faders because the crossfader was broken. And, and I just played some good music, and I don't remember what song I played that really captivated the audience. But at that time, if I could think about the song that I played, I think it was Eric Sermon and Too Short's Buy You Some. Because the way it starts, dun, 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 woo! So, ha. So, when that part came, I lowered the volume, and the whole audience, the whole crowd was like, ha. Where there's more, So I thought I caught him with that one. So I think that was a good moment. But being able to DJ in front of those people and do it the way I did it, and then actually move on to the rest of the competition, and eventually I won the competition. It was a proud moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So history lesson again. Different songs are recorded at different studios, mixed by different engineers, and they're put out by different companies. So what's the question is, how do we get them to sound at the same volume every time you play them? Right? I have the answer. Okay, that's the educational part. That's the importance of mastering. Okay, once you mix and record, you have to master the record, and the mastering is what basically puts every record on every level. So when Jeff has to work without his crossfader and has to do sound effects, each song comes in at a certain level. Because if it wasn't mastered, the level may come high, too low, and then that would have been a horrible exercise.
Absolutely.
Because the records would have sounded crappy because of the mixing of it, but not the mastering of it. So the fact that mastering is in our culture allows you to be able to do sound fading rather than crossfading.
And that's one of the reasons why a lot of the labels started doing double albums, double vinyl, because when a record was recorded on one vinyl, let's say there's 18 songs on a record, 9 on one side and 9 on side B. if you wanted to play a song off of that album, it's too low because of all the music that's on that record.
Oh, I was saying right. The groove quotient, the groove quotient of how much is dug into the record actually affects the level of the record itself.
Exactly.
So they would do double vinyl, so that would be equal across the board. So an album that had 6 songs would be the same as an album that had 18 songs.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But the 18 song would be 4 pieces of vinyl, where the 6 would be 2 pieces, or 1 piece of vinyl.
Exactly.
Makes
like I used to have trouble in clubs playing certain records because of the album. The album was too low, and
because it had 20 songs on it.
It had 20 songs on it, you know. So
whereas
that plays a major part also in your thought process when you're DJing at a party.
That's why we're having this conversation.
Yes.
See, we're having that
now with technology. You know, you could adjust certain things. You know.
Yeah.
And I know we're gonna get to that.
Well, I'm gonna let you get into that. Yeah. But we got okay. All right. How did you read a room when you were DJing before digital toys like Spotify will let you know what the top 20 songs are? How was you able to read a room and to get them to kind of build your base? So, like for example, like say a DJ Scratch and Jazzy Jeff, right? They're tricksters, if you will, and within them doing very nice tricks, okay, things of that nature. They were able to go on a base, okay? But before you knew what hot records to play, you had to feel it. You had to know what it was. Or watch, for example, you can't, for example, do the same cadence of records that a certain DJ does because you're copying that DJ's style. You have to say, yes, I want to play this song just like he played this song, but I'm arrived there differently compared to how they arrived there. What was that's the question I'm asking. How did you read a room to know how to do that?
Well, it's always different. Different rooms are always going to be different. You know, I'll give you a perfect example. I was DJing at 4040, before, you know, and I kind of sensed, you know, we're playing some good music, everybody's enjoying themselves, but my eye caught a couple, right? They were really into the music, they were really enjoying themselves, and something just clicked in me and said, let's do New Jack Swing. Mm-hmm. So I did a New Jack Swing set. And when the other DJ came on, my man DJ First Choice, the energy was so crazy in there because of the New Jack Swing vibe that he stayed in that lane for another 20, 30 minutes, you know. So it's all about catching, for me, to reading the room is catching that one person really enjoying it. Because the easiest thing to do is to clear a dance floor. Play the wrong song, you're clearing the dance floor. The objective is to keep them there, you know. So when you playing music and you see them dancing, you don't want to give them something that's going to make them stop dancing, of course, to then catch up to what you're playing. Because as the DJ, they're gonna follow what you do, you know. So in that aspect is basically watching what they're doing. That's why even till this day, I never put, you know, using my laptop now, using Serato, I never put my computer in front of me. I put it to the side so I can see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I try not to look at my laptop once I find the song that I'm going to play. But when it came to vinyl, you know, you would turn around, grab a record, put it on, and when you're DJing, when I was DJing with vinyl, you had to read the crowd even bigger than what you do now, because, like I said, you know, you don't know what records is hot because, you know, we didn't have Spotify, we didn't have none of that stuff, so you had to watch videos and listen to the radio. Like, Video Music Box was, to me, the biggest key to any DJ. You know what I'm saying? Because you would see a video, oh my God, that record's hot. It has a video. So obviously that record's hot. I got to go get that record and play it at my club, at my party. So, and then of course listening to the radio. And not be afraid to listen to other DJs. You know, you ain't got to do what they doing, but you know, oh, he plays that record? Oh wow, that record really works? Okay. You got to put that in your arsenal. You know, you ain't got to play it the way he did, but you have, you know, it's all about learning. It's all about being a student to the game and staying a student to the game.
Okay. All right. That works. All right. That certifies you. That certifies. That's
and one other thing, the most important.
There's one more thing.
And the most important thing, like, you know, Clark Kent, may he rest in peace, said, the most important thing is the music. You know, your skill set is a plus, but the music is what keeps everybody on the dance floor.
I got you. Okay. Yep. Rest in power, DJ Clark Kent.
Rest in power.
All right, that's the verified part of this, about this interview. Now we gotta get to the certified part. Okay? All right.
The certified.
And the C. Let's see if we can establish your legacy here, sir.
I got a story for you.
Oh, we'll get there. Let's see if we can establish your legacy. I got a couple more questions for you. Okay. What is the classic mixing technique or trick that you learned that put respect on your name?
Wow.
Not that press sync garbage.
I think one of the things that took me there was that I knew how to scratch, you know, and it wasn't, because there's a difference between scratching, you know, and sounding good, and scratching and sounding
annoying
and trash. Because a lot of, you know, especially the new DJs, they be like, oh, you know, all that scratching. You know, it's about doing it in a tasteful manner. You know what I'm saying? If you know how to scratch and you sound good doing it, and you do it in a party, people are going to applaud you for it. But now when you start getting a little bit too crazy with it, then, you know, you're taking away from the party. So, you know, sometimes, you know, you want to scratch into the next record. You know what I'm saying? You want to do a little fancy, quick little cut, you know, and go into the next record. Because a lot of DJs, let's be honest, a lot of DJs don't know how to blend, you know. So those slam records, you know.
Slam records, that's a term people out there. A DJ term people don't
And
know.
that's why I say DJs need to learn their craft. Blend, learn how to mix, learn how to blend. You know, if you don't, scratching is not the most important thing to learn and to do as a DJ. If you know how to scratch, then it's a plus. It gives you another edge. But the most important thing is to learn how to beat match and how to blend and how to transition from one song to the next. You know, and not sound like a train wreck. You know. But you can slam a record, you know, and it works. You know, it's all about in good taste. It's all about doing it at the right time, at the right moment, at the right time.
All right, ask and answer. Appreciate you. I'll make sure I'm phrasing this the right way. Okay. Pre-social media, you had to build a connection and build the base. So when you threw a party, people are coming to your party. They know you're coming to a party. Post social media, you can post, "Hey, I'm throwing a party."
Yeah.
Right. And if you have 20,000 followers, they'll say he must be okay. He has 20,000 followers. Doesn't mean he's a good DJ, but he must be. Right?
Yeah.
How pre and post did you kind of work that out? I'm assuming that pre would be the flyer era.
Yeah.
Is that the flyer era?
Flyer era, word of mouth, calling people
Consistency. Like
Yeah.
if you're DJing, like they can't DJ once every 3 months, you got to DJ once every other weekend
Yeah.
or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Same location potentially or
Yes.
similar locations?
Same locations. You know, a lot of the parties that I did were same locations. Like, you know, I was
40-40.
40-40, Decos, Vertigo, The Fever. You know, it was flyers and phone calls.
So it's flyers and phone calls
Yeah.
then. And within the phone calls, are you making the calls or is the phone calls you making sure that people who are, let's say for example, you got 20 people that come every time. You tell them 20 people, call your friends.
Yeah, like, you know, you call in your friends and be like, look, you know, I'm at the Fever tonight. Yo, come through. It's gonna, you know, open bar till 11. You know, da da da. Or be like, look, you know, I'm DJing. You should come celebrate your birthday. Bring your friends. You know, and tell a friend to tell a friend. You know, and now with social media, it's putting a flyer on the gram or on X or whatever social media platform you're on, or all of the social media platforms that you're on. Doing a little video, you know, promoting what you're doing, you know, because now before it was promoters. You were the DJ. You were just supposed to be the DJ. Now you're the DJ, promoter, graphic designer, you know, marketing specialist. You know, you're doing all these different hats now. So, you know, it's just that, like, you know, social media makes it makes it a little easy, but at the same time it's difficult because social media has an algorithm. So, you know, the person could have I have 49,000 followers, but Instagram will only show it to 20% of my followers until they engage, until they share it, or
Until they activate.
Exactly.
When they activate, then Instagram will activate on top of you.
Exactly. Once they start
sharing, once they start liking, then Instagram activates and says.
Then Instagram is like, oh my God.
Or algorithms, period. Doesn't matter if you're on YouTube, whatever the case may be.
Exactly. So it's all about, you know, getting your people, your friends to share your thing so
Engage.
other people can see it.
Okay.
You know.
All right, that makes sense. It makes sense. All right, I got one last one for you. Are you okay? You good?
Yeah,
am I stressing you out?
Nah. We you know, I don't have the interrogation light on my head.
Okay,
so
you
good.
You good. All right. All right. If you could take a rookie DJ or a young up-and-coming DJ to one night from your past to taste the raw essence of you DJing, what night is that?
Wow.
And why? Paint that picture for Goju Nation.
Wow. There's so many places that I got to DJ at, but the one place that I had the most fun DJing at has to be Vertigo, and then it changed to Decos, but I'm gonna just call it Decos. I would take a rookie DJ. If I could take them back.
And say, I want to show you something.
I want to show you something.
You want to be in the game? You want to be in the game?
Yeah.
You come with me here.
I'm gonna take them to Decos on a Sunday night.
Which is important.
Yeah.
Because people go to work on Monday.
Yes. Because Sunday was arguably the best night back in the days to be out. You had Decos, you had the Tunnel.
Jesus Christ.
You had Studio.
Talk about it.
You know, to name a few. But if I could take somebody back, take a rookie DJ, it would be to Decos for one reason. That night that I would take them back to, Little Kim was performing.
That particular night for you.
That particular night, she was performing. Her, Little C's, Junior Mafia was in the building. That's when I met Cypher Sounds. He was DJing for her at the time. And they were performing. They do their thing. At the end of the performance, I'm getting ready to continue the party. So I played All About the Benjamins. pre-Diddy on it.
The Lox version.
The Lox version.
With all three of them.
All three of them. And the instrument, the beginning of the instrumental, the beginning of the record did not start with, it's all about the Benjamins, baby.
It was just a beat.
It was just a beat. Raw. And Lil Kim and C's on stage. I think Jada was in the building. I don't really remember. But I started playing the instrumental. I started playing the record from the top. And they on stage still. Because remember, back in those days, the artists would stay in the club, hang out with the,
there was no after party.
Yeah.
They were there as if it is the after
exactly.
party.
And the audience, the crowd respected them.
Because they stayed.
So I'm playing this record and I'm bringing it back. I played the beginning and they just vibing on stage. I wish we had social media and I wish we had...
Yeah, you wish you had the visual of that.
The visual of that, because the energy in that building was so crazy that even Cypher Sounds was like, yo, Jeff, this shit is crazy. Like they couldn't understand how dope the energy was. And I'm just bringing it back, and I'm letting them. And I think Little C's did a little freestyle. I think Ken said a few words, and then the record dropped, and then the night continued. It was just one of those dope nights.
It was a moment.
It was a moment that I wish we had footage of.
Like almost, if I'm hearing you correctly, and I don't mean to cut you off and tell me if you want to finish. It's almost as if it's the reason why you DJ.
Yes.
You see a moment like that, you're
Yes.
saying, and this is why I want to be a DJ.
Yes.
Because of moments like this.
And that's why I would take a rookie DJ, if I could take him back, I would take him to that night.
So he could see that moment.
So he could see that moment and feel the moment and be like, yes, this is why. And then tell him, this is why I am a DJ.
And this is why you want them to feel.
Yeah.
This is what you want the audience to feel.
Absolutely.
Very good answer, by the way. Okay? Very good answer. Very good answer. I think we covered the essence. You think we covered the essence?
I believe so.
Okay.
It's probably more, but we got...
The only thing we did not do, or one thing we did not do is we didn't get too much technically into equipment itself.
Okay, so we could do that real quick.
Okay. Oh,
we could do that real quick.
we're going to do that real quick, Luigi.
Like I said previously, as a DJ, you should know every aspect of DJing. Go back, and watch videos of DJs rocking on turntables. Go watch Grandmaster Flash in Wild Style. You know what I'm saying? Moving the fade, turning around and moving the fader behind his back. Watch Jazzy Jeff cut up. Watch him cut up anything, because Jazzy Jeff is Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah, like one of Jazzy Jeff's famous, like one of his famous ones is him doing Rock the Bells.
Rock the Bells. Yeah. Go watch Jazzy Jeff cut up Rock the Bells. Go watch Jazzy Jeff cut up Peter Piper. You know what I'm saying? Go watch Scratch do Friday the 13th. I'm gonna play Jason, and then go underneath the turntable and come back up with the mask on, and go back and forth with it. Another spot I would take someone to, a rookie DJ, real quick, is Club 2000. When Flex used to do Club 2000. You know what I'm saying? Like, the energy in there was always bananas.
Okay.
But as far as the equipment-wise, turntable and technique, learn how to use everything. Get yourself some turntables. Buy yourself a couple pieces of vinyl. And learn how to blend without knowing the BPM of a record.
So let me make sure I understand you correctly. Okay, you're not taking anything away from today's technology.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I love.
Almost like if you have a 80-inch TV, there's nothing wrong with getting a black and white television, just so you could see TV how it was at its essence and see how things look on a small screen. Because you see everything on the big screen, you might just lose focus of what things are. So bringing it back, okay, go ahead and get the Serato, get today's technology there, but have a couple turntables here with a mixer,
Like,
and get a little bit of vinyl. Like if you have $1,000 invested, take $200, take $250 for argument's sake. I'm gonna say I know how much it costs. Yeah, and go get 2 turntables and a mixer, and go buy Peter Piper.
Yeah.
And just sit there and scratch Peter Piper and learn how to blend and mix Peter Piper with some other stuff. That's your basically saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Buy yourself, like, right now, technology, and I love Serato, I love the controllers, I love the CDJs, I love the Rain 12s, I love all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I feel that Serato is a pension for, the old school DJs that we used to carry vinyl, we used to carry crates of records. I remember seeing Kid Capri DJ at the building with like 20 crates of records. But now we can carry all that music and then some on our laptops or our hard drives. You know what I'm saying? So learn that, because remember, your name, in front of your name is DJ. So a DJ is someone that knows how to use everything.
Okay.
I feel, in my opinion,
You've done it a lot longer than most. So, thank you for that. Okay, here's my take. Right, I like to wrap things up in a bow because Goju Nation likes to hear the good, the bad, the ugly. Then keep it simple. Okay, it's about soul. It's about hustle. It's not about apps.
No, it's not about apps.
Okay, you have to dish the presets and dig into them crates.
Yes.
Okay, like you said, if you use today's technology, invest in classic technology so you know how to do your craft properly. Okay, and respect the legacy of what this represents. It's about the music, right?
Yeah, it's about the music.
It's about the music. Okay.
And, you can buy records. Like, record companies are pressing vinyl.
Yeah, we're back to vinyl.
They're back to vinyl because there's a lot of people that collect vinyl.
A lot of people that collect vinyl. And there's a aspect of culture to the playing of vinyl. Not even the DJ part of it. Like just being a hipster in the village.
And
in your apartment, you have a record player. It's over in the corner. And in that corner, you happen to have, you know what I have over here? I have a Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. And you know what else I have? And I have the Doors album. And I have Blueprint by Jay-Z. And I also have the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I got a good nice collection here. And they like to pride themselves in that. You're laughing on exactly what I'm talking about.
And nothing, and I repeat, nothing sounds as good as vinyl. Chris Vinyl. That crackling sound. Like when you would hear a DJ premiere, like Take It Personal, and you hear that record and the way it was sampled, it had that grittiness.
Producers used to put
they used
crackling.
They used to add the crackling
to the production.
You know what I'm saying? Just because
yes.
They wanted that essence. RZA and his production was so gritty.
Compared to, say, a Pete Rock, compared to a Primo, compared to a Trackmasters, compared to whomever.
Exactly.
Right.
Just Blaze, his sound was so gritty. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's all because of sampling off of vinyl.
Look at this love affair he's got with the vinyl. He's about to lose himself here.
I love it. I love it. I think we're gonna go buy some records after this.
He's actually having an emotional attachment to the vinyl right now. You say you want to tell a story.
Yeah.
I stopped you. I mean, let me hear this story.
Man, and it's a personal story between you and I. I was home. It was like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I get a text. Yo, Jeff, what you doing? Nah, I'm just here in the house, just about to crash out. Yo, I'm at the studio with Ghostface Killah, and I think you was recording Ghost Showers at that time. And you was like, yo, I need you to come down here, because first of all, I want you to meet Ghost. And I told you, yo, Ghost is one of my favorite artists from Wu-Tang. Like, I love Ghostface Killah. So what's up? Yo, come down here. You know what it is. Get down here. So I get down there. And mind you, I've seen and I've been around tons of celebrities. You've done
the routine.
I've done the routine.
Right.
Never been starstruck. There's only a few people a few artists that I would get starstruck, but I'll get to that in a second. So I get to I jump. You told me, yo, Jeff, you got to get here. I don't know. I know you're far, you're uptown, but jump in the cab. So I jump in the cab. I get to the studio, and I meet Ghostface. I was starstruck because Ghostface is one of my favorite artists, hands down. One of my favorite.
Was he nice
artists.
to you?
Huh? Yeah, he was nice. He was nice. He was nice because of what I.
I have no idea.
He was nice, and when I told him where I was from, he was like, "Yo, all right." So we had a great time, and I got to see him. I got to see him in his essence. I got to see him record.
He was recording.
Yeah, he was recording. So I got to see him, and like I said, if we had social media, camera phones, man, listen, we would have this footage right now.
Was Teresa with me that day?
I think so.
She was doing vocals for Ghost Showers?
Yeah.
Oh, it was that?
I think so.
I kind of remember
think so.
a little bit.
And it, like I said, it was one of my highlights.
Did he tell you to order food?
Huh?
Did he tell you to order food?
It was that I brought down to get him, to take him. You wanted me to bring him some. You wanted me to bring him some Dominican food from the Heights.
That's okay. So now I could jump into the story. That's how we got here.
Yeah.
Okay. We're recording whatever we were recording, and he wanted some Spanish food, but we were downtown in the village recording. There's no Spanish bodega food in the village.
And I live in Washington Heights, and you know
that the restaurants
open
24
the restaurants
hours.
up there are open 24 hours.
With the bag and food.
Yes.
And I created an opportunity.
Yes.
And I said, I will give you the money. Go get this, and bring your ass down here.
Yes.
And you came and you met Ghostface and brought him Spanish food.
Brought him Spanish food. Ghostface was Dominican for 30 minutes.
And he loved, okay, I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
I would have never remembered that if you didn't tell me that story.
That's one of my stories with you. We got plenty of stories, but that one sticks close because of the fact that I got to meet one of my hip hop heroes.
Well, you know what's important about that, and Luigi knows this. One of the more popular aspects of this podcast is people like to hear the stories behind it because we give the information, we give the context, we give the facts, but we also validate, in my mind, that we're not guessing, okay? Because we do certain things, we did certain things, okay? It's not that you got to meet Ghostface because you could have met Ghostface at a show. You got to meet the person,
yes,
okay? Not the rapper, not the I'm a rock star.
Yeah.
You met I'm hungry.
Yeah. I'm hungry, Ghostface.
Yo, I'm hungry. Like, I know we got to record this song, but I need... So you met the person, and you were the person that bought the person what the person wanted.
Absolutely.
So you got to meet a person, not a actual artist in artist mode.
Yeah.
So that, for me, I think is genuine because that is what becomes...
Like, if we was to see Ghostface, if I was to run into him and tell him that story... He would burst out in tears laughing,
and then he would say,
and he would be like,
"And where's Tally at? I haven't seen him." In a while.
And he would be like, "That was the ultimate thing anyone could do for me."
He even know what he wanted.
Yeah, he didn't know what you wanted.
I told him, "You got some noodles.
Got to get the maduros, the baked chicken, rice and beans,
steak and onions. Like, we had this. Yeah, it had to be $50 worth of food.
Yeah. Okay. That was one of my. That's one of my
thank you for
major stories. Like one of my favorite memories when it comes to you and I. As friends. As brothers. You know what I'm saying? That's
I appreciate that. I tend to just kind of say this is just what happened and that was then. This is now. I'm getting a little bit stuck because I want to make sure I say this clearly. One of the things that's very appreciated about this podcast is the stories that come out. I'm being very honest with you. Enough of the time, there's ones that I remember. Another time, there was I don't remember. People tell me, like, you did this. I did what? When did that happen? You did this. You did. Glad I can make a memory for you.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's a lot of things you have done in this before podcasting. In your career as an A&R. So, with that being said...
The next memory is going to be on June 7th.
Yes,
But
June 7th.
before we do that, though, before I get into promo mode, give them your socials. Where can they find Jeff? And what's the next thing that's going on with you? Talk to me about this brand. Tell me what's going on with you a little bit. So get me out of here. Get you in here.
I created a brand called 2911. I started it in 2016, and it's in memory of my dad.
Okay.
29 was the year he was born. 11 was the year that he passed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that came from. And I started it, like I said, in 2016. And I started it with a movement called Scratch Responsibly, which is, like I said, when you hear a DJ cutting and he's killing it, you're like, wow, he's killing it. He's scratching responsibly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was the thought process when it came to that. And the fact that I named it 2911 is basically for DJs by a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to start doing it again. I also been back in the lab producing music.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a record that I did with Terminology that I'm about to drop, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's been getting a couple of spins on satellite radio, underground radio. Shout out to my man DJ Boogie Blind. He played it. DJ Eclipse played it on Rap Is Out of Control. Boogie Blind played it on Lord Sears show. So I'm about to drop that. It's called I'm Authentic.
Okay.
So it's produced by myself.
And where can they find you on the social?
Social media, you can find me on Instagram. Everything is at DJ Big Jeff. Instagram, Threads, X, Twitter, if you want to call it whatever. I still call it Twitter. I don't like that whole X name. I like Twitter.
Did Elon Musk literally just sell X back to himself under his AI imprint?
Crazy.
You see how I said that, right? Because he tried to make it like he sold X. No, he didn't. He sold X to his AI parent company, basically saying, I don't want to deal with it no more. Y'all deal with it. That's basically what he did.
So you can find me on all social media platforms at DJ Big Jeff.
Okay.
You can follow me subscribe to my YouTube page at DJ Big Jeff. I be putting up some funny content. I like to put up funny content. I like to put up thought-provoking content. So follow my journey, man, and look out for that record.
Because the next thing he's going to promo
is June 7th.
Is June 7th.
Yeah, June
right,
7th.
Exactly. Where there will be the live brunch podcast of industry number 4080, of industry rule number 4080. June 7th, Saturday. Probably looking like 1:30 when we'll get there, but we'll keep you updated with times and stuff like that. Guests to be announced. Jeff's going to be there. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be there. Okay.
So you want me to bring the turntables or the controller?
No. Just bring your sponsor.
Because I could bring records.
Bring classic records nobody has. Do you have this vinyl? Bring a vinyl nobody has.
Okay.
That type of thing. It's going to be at South Bay in Fairfield, Connecticut. All right. Post Point Media, MCM Marketing, Gotham Jungle, all together, present industry rule number 4080, the live brunch podcast.
You making me want to just DJ.
Hey, you know what? We need Camille in the room for that. He's laughing, but I'm not saying that can't happen. We just need Camille in the room for that, and she's not here today. Okay, but we'll figure that out. You know what? There's a link that Luigi's put all over this thing somewhere, and you have to. I don't know if it's a link, but it's definitely the website where you need to go. Yeah, the URL where you can RSVP. Okay, because it's not that seats are limited, but we just can't have 20 people showing up. You got to be able to say, okay, you RSVP, you're in. You RSVP, you're in. You RSVP in. They're going to have menus and you're going to have specials. So it's going to be. Wait till you see the picture of this place. You're going to be like, how did he pay for this? Like, it's very nice.
Okay.
Right? So it's cool.
So I might have to bring the equipment and play some music.
Or bring bodies.
Okay, we can do that.
Bring people and bring bodies, because the restaurant's going to love us if we. Anyway, we got some real editing to do here today, Luigi. Catch the socials, Goju Nation: X, Twitter, Facebook, IG, YouTube, of course, at Gotham Jungle, at Gotham Jungle, at Gotham Jungle. One word, you can't mistake it. Okay, follow, like, subscribe, share. That's how you become an official member of Goju Nation.
And don't forget to comment also.
Yeah, you know what? I usually say that before. Let me reiterate that.
Okay.
You're very right about that. What's important is that for us to do this so y'all could be happy, y'all have to comment and let us know. Am I talking too much? Is he unattractive? Am I unattractive? Who the hell is Luigi? We want to see his face. We don't know these things if you don't tell us these things. So we need the comments, because the comments help us formulate and build this. Thank you very much for that, sir.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. I want to thank Big Jeff, DJ Big Jeff, for coming out. I got to thank Kenneth, Miss Millie, Lauren Elise, the grand architect of the universe, Pop Grizz, and Michelle Johnson, who gave me a aha moment I will never forget. Thank you, Miss Johnson.
What was her aha moment?
Nah, you got to be more in my life to know that. Right now, you're not. So,
come on, man, spill it.
I'll share it off camera.
Okay, cool. All right.
With that being said, never forget, light and darkness cannot coexist at the same time. So if you choose to be one, choose to be the light. Goju Nation, salute. Thank you.